All right, I got an Apple update, based on today's action. I talked about certain resistance zones in my previous updates. So this is what I'm looking at now. There's a chance the way they closed this. If we get some confirmation, they might want to give this a quick pop. Okay. So let's talk about this plan here. So Apple is at a key pivot point where it could try and to pop towards the 148 before slowing down. Okay. We could try, right? I'm going to talk about some things that are but confirmation is key, plus some key points I want to explain that you will not be able to well you that will that you will be only able to hear through this video. So in other words, what I'm saying is that what I'm going to explain they won't be seeing in the boxes. The boxes have some key information, like see, this is the target. The May 19 145 calls could be used, or the weekly 144 April 28 calls could be used. I will explain the facts. We're going to take a look at all this information. Okay, so before we try to engage in these options, we want to see Apple needs to break above 144.20 on some good action volume. And good action volume is 5 million on a 10-minute chart. Now, we want to see some sort of power. What I believe is if we get the power through 144.20, that'll be a good way to engage. You can engage with both type of options, both the 145s or just either one or the other. Okay. Because there's a good chance that they might want to give it a good push, towards that area. But one of the resistance points again will be how well they're able to smash through 155. So first steps first, we want to see this try to confirm. Now, if we don't get that volume through 144.20, remember the opening price is a pivot. That's the same thing. I don't want to see this opening up strong and then they pivot down. So we want to go long above the pivot. So if we have to wait for confirmation of one another point is to look for some sort of strength through a 144.30 to 144.50. above the pivot. So whatever the opening price is, for example, we open at 144. They pull it down. We then look for it to show power through or they open it at 144.20, for example, and then they try to bring it down, and then they try to repop it through 144.20, and some volume comes in, and we see some power towards 144.30, which is above the pivot, and if they do this within the first hour to hour and a half, that would be the most ideal. It should happen within a short period of time, within the first hour, maximum hour and a half. That means by about 11 o'clock, we might get some sort of confirmation and be able to engage in these options. So let's go take a look at the options, people. So, just listen carefully to what I said there because there's a lot of key information. All right, let's take a look now. So here we are at the Yahoo Finance. Apple closed at 143.62. Not a big deal today, but you know what? It's set up in a way that they could do something with this still. Make a nice move by the end of the week. Okay? This is a possibility. Like I told you, there's some key resistance points. Let's go take a look at the May 19 217 calls, right? So I talk about the 145s. Okay. So the May 19 145 calls. All right, so here we are at the Yahoo Finance board, and Apple closed at 143.64. Let's take a look at the May 19 options here as one idea, okay? Because these could be good to use as well, right? So we'll scroll down to the 145 calls, and you can see that there's some good open interest here, 48,000. Specifically, these were the ones that trade, and again, you can see that the spread is very tight here. So these are really good to use, and again, they're inexpensive here. They're they might trigger in around the 250 area. And this is a way to kind of make a comeback. So these could be used, as you can see. And again, let's take a look at the April. So this is the reference point here. So these are right now 224. Let's take a look at the April 28. Right, so here are the April 28 weekly calls, and let's take a look at these. Now, these could be used too here. By the way, so here you are. Apple is at 60. They're trading at 69 cents. 17,000 options traded. Open interest is 10,000. So a lot of new open interest came into these options because there's an anticipation that this could make a quick pop. In other words, we might clear that 145 resistance I'm talking about pretty easily, and get to 146, 147. Up to 148 shouldn't be a problem, but doesn't mean we're going to get to 148, but you never know. But even if we get to 146, I assure you, these options are going to make some nice gains here, at least 150, 200% gains. Okay. And of course, if you want more time to hold, getting into the May make calls as well, or one. So it's either one or the or. A person could do both. On Sunday, I made an update. If you want to check out what I said about Apple, Apple kind of did what I said. We kind of stayed in the chop zone today. There wasn't any volume, so this wasn't any bit of a move. But today's action, how we held, and things changed. They aligned. That if we can confirm this plan, this could be pretty good. So there's still a great entry here. It's a matter of seeing what happens from this point on. Because if not, Apple could stay in the chops. Check out what I said over here. It's one of those things. It's not going to be a smooth trade, but you've got to be prepared to see if we see the power, enough power, it could be worthwhile to hold with one of the two options. So there you have it, people. A great update. Now see the Sandro Power Target Trade. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Power Target Trade, I suggest you subscribe. See the Sandro Power Target Trade is going to appear here in a circle format. Simply click on it. It's going to give you an easy way to subscribe. It's a great place to get to see my videos, a lot of other plans. A link for my Power Target Trade on Twitter, and a link to my website has a lot of great videos on there. Check that out. Well, they're kind of they're showing you plans that made great gains, and this is all documented with plans, entries, exits, everything. So check that out. So there you have it, a great update. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.